Ever look around at the world and wonder, how on earth did we get here? I mean, how did a relatively basic ape go from foraging in the dirt to building massive skyscrapers, engineering global economies, and, arguing on the internet? Well, you are in the exact right place. Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving deep into Yuval Noah Harari's groundbreaking perspective on human history. And we're not just going to rattle off a list of ancient dates and kings. We are looking at the big picture. As we trace the last 70,000 years of our evolution, we're going to keep circling back to one massive philosophical question. Are we actually happier today than we were thousands of years ago? I mean, really think about it. Has our endless technological and scientific progress actually brought us true peace? It's a wildly fascinating lens to view our history through, so definitely keep that question in the back of your mind as we go. All right, let's lay out the roadmap for our explainer today. We're going to hit the 6 major historical revolutions that totally rewired our species: the cognitive revolution, farming, the unification of humans, science and industry, capitalism and our happiness, and lastly, the mysterious future of Homo sapiens. Let's jump right into part 1, the cognitive revolution. So picture this. Around 70,000 years ago, Homo sapiens experienced this sudden, massive evolutionary leap in how they thought and communicated. And this leap is exactly why we outcompeted other human species, like the physically much stronger Neanderthals. See, Neanderthals communicated mostly just for basic needs, which kept them in small, isolated groups. But sapiens, we developed highly flexible language. We could cooperate efficiently in massive numbers. That meant when food was scarce, we could strategize and survive, while others tragically went extinct. But here is where it gets really interesting. Our true superpower wasn't just being able to say, hey, there's a lion by the river. It was our imagination. We developed the ability to invent and believe in shared myths. We're talking about abstract concepts that don't physically exist in the natural world. Things like gods, nations, laws, and human rights. Because thousands or even millions of strangers can all believe in the exact same myth, they can cooperate effectively. That collective imagination, that is the real secret to human dominance. Which brings us to a major turning point. Part 2. Farming, the biggest fraud. Now, you've probably been taught that the shift from hunter-gatherers to farmers was humanity's greatest triumph, right? Well, the source material suggests it's actually our most shocking plot twist. It sounds totally crazy at first, but the argument here is that instead of making life easier, agriculture actually trapped us. We patted ourselves on the back thinking we were domesticating crops like wheat and rice, but in reality, those crops domesticated us. They tied us to the land and forced us into a grueling daily cycle of hard labor just to make sure they grew. When you really break down the trade-off, the cost of this transition was absolutely staggering. Hunter-gatherers actually enjoyed a super diverse, highly nutritious diet and a free-roaming lifestyle. But by giving that up to become farmers, our diets shrank down to just a few starchy crops, which led to widespread nutritional deficiencies. Suddenly, we were stuck in one place doing backbreaking work, plus living shoulder to shoulder with domesticated animals unleashed new deadly diseases. And to top it all off, the new concept of owning land created property disputes and deep, lasting social inequality. So populations are booming and spreading out. That brings us to part 3, the unification of humans. To keep these massive, entirely different cultures connected across the globe, we needed some serious social glue. And 3 major forces stepped up to the plate to unify these isolated societies. First, money, which created a common economic language for trade. Second, empires, which, often through conquest, absorbed diverse groups into shared political and legal systems. And third, religion, which established universal moral bonds that went way beyond local tribal identities. What is absolutely mind-blowing here is the true nature of money. Think about it. Money isn't just a shiny coin or a piece of paper. It's a universal system of mutual trust. In fact, it is the single most successful system of pure, cross-cultural trust ever invented. You could be dealing with someone on the complete opposite side of the world, with a different language and totally different beliefs, but because you both believe in the imaginary value of that money, you can seamlessly cooperate. All of that global connection paved the way for part 4, science and industry. For the longest time in human history, people genuinely believed all the answers to the universe were already written down in ancient texts. The scientific revolution actually started the exact moment humanity finally admitted, hey, we actually don't know everything.
Admitting that ignorance sparked a massive wave of exploration, and it created this unstoppable loop of acceleration. Science discovers new technology, capitalism funds it to mass produce goods for profit, and then a chunk of that profit gets poured right back into research to make even more discoveries.
And that exact engine is what birthed the Industrial Revolution. We totally replaced the natural rhythms of life, like waking up with the sun and resting in the winter, with the rigid, relentless ticking of the factory clock. Humanity shifted into a highly predictable mass production lifestyle. But again, we gotta pause and ask that core question. Did mechanizing our lives, totally disconnecting from nature, and exploiting the Earth's resources actually make our day-to-day existence any happier?
That naturally leads us to part 5, capitalism and our happiness.
Today, capitalism practically operates like a modern religion. It shifts our entire societal focus toward endless economic growth and relentless consumerism, and it perfectly exploits the psychological trap known as the hedonic treadmill. Have you ever noticed that when you fulfill a desire, like finally upgrading your phone or getting that promotion, you get a genuine spike in happiness, but it fades so fast? Very quickly, that new luxury just becomes your baseline normal, and immediately you want something else. We are literally running on a treadmill of consumption, trapped in a constant chase, never quite reaching permanent satisfaction. This is what we call the paradox of modern comfort. We have unparalleled medical care, AC, and more material wealth than ancient kings could even comprehend, yet modern humans are seriously struggling. Material wealth just does not guarantee internal peace. We've lost so many of those deep, meaningful community connections, which has caused rates of stress, loneliness, and existential dread to totally skyrocket. We are deeply conditioned to chase external success while utterly neglecting our internal contentment, something our foraging ancestors might have actually had totally figured out.
So, where does this speeding train of progress go from here? Part 6, the future of Homo sapiens. With the explosive rise of AI and biotechnology, we are stepping into a completely unknown horizon. We are literally on the verge of bypassing traditional evolution altogether. Through genetic engineering, we could alter our physical and mental traits at will. We're already experimenting with merging human biology directly with artificial intelligence. But there's a massive, terrifying catch: extreme biological inequality. If only the incredibly wealthy can afford to upgrade their DNA and integrate with AI, we risk creating a permanent, irreversible split between a genetically enhanced superclass and, well, regular humans.
And I want to leave you with this final provocative thought straight from the source material. As we conquer our own biology, rewrite our genetic code, and intimately merge with our technology to become entirely new beings, what will it actually mean to be human? Are we just witnessing the end of Homo sapiens, only to birth our own intelligent successors? It's a mind-bending question for sure. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. I hope it gave you a fresh, fascinating perspective on exactly who we are and where we might be going. Keep exploring, keep questioning, and I'll catch you next time.